In Mancha's sun-drenched fields he lived alone, a modest man with dreams not yet full-blown. The tales of knights consumed his every hour, their truths unchallenged, soaked with mythic power. By candles' gleam he fed on fabled quest, his soul at rest, yet vaguely unpossessed. No world to win, no foe to yet defy, but still some whisper stirred beneath the lie. At last he armed himself with borrowed pride and rode into the world he'd mythified. An inn became a castle in his gaze, its keeper crowned a lord in fiction's haze. He knew the script, he knew the rights and roles, but wonder dulled when filtered through his goals. The thrill had dimmed, though purpose held its place. A silent gap grew wide beneath his face. He knelt before the innkeep's patient leer, a would-be knight demanding formal cheer. Each moment shaped to match his inner code, each passer-by became a quest bestowed. A boy unjustly whipped became his cause, a page torn straight from chivalric laws. He saw the world as verse to be performed, and every bruise a sign that truth conformed. But justice failed when pain was all he gained, the boy still beaten, innocence unstained. Don Quixote, bloodied, bruised and mocked, declared enchantment had his triumph blocked. Each failure twisted into sacred script, his reason tethered tight, but meaning slipped. The world grew sharper, but his vision thinned, a prison made of tales he lived within. Back home, his niece and priest lit books afire, to cleanse his mind of madness and desire. They sought to tether thought with logic's thread, but still he dreamed of dragons to be bled. With Sancho as his squire, he left once more, intuiting a life not lived before. Though truth was torn, he chased it all the same, a fool with cause, a body with a flame. A windmill turned, indifferent to his cry. He charged, was flung like dust into the sky. Reality refused to play his game, yet he insisted giants were to blame. His cause-effect now frayed beyond repair, but still he named each blow a noble snare. No lesson came, just ever-tightening thread, a tale that bent but never broke or bled. A scholar speaks, a tale within the tale. An Arabic script guides this holy grail. And then a shepherdess declares her will, her voice a truth too wild to fit the quill. Marcella's words, a sovereign self-born creed, strike chords his code can barely seem to read. The world slips sideways, logic flickers dim, the story starts to shake but clings to him. Now every muleteer becomes a test, each inn a spell, each scorn a sacred jest. Symbols bloom wildly out of form and place. He sees too much but can't discern the face. He spins new yarns to justify his pain, invents the tales that sanctify disdain. The insight flares, then flickers into smoke, a mystic's fire gone mad beneath the cloak. A flock of sheep becomes an army's tide, the priest, a villain clothed in holy pride. Yet now his thoughts begin to thread and weave. He doesn't doubt, he deeply must believe. The layers form a self within the shell, each errant blow a tale too rich to tell. It's not correction he begins to crave, but depth and echo, truths the madness gave. A barber's basin becomes Mambrino's crown. He lifts it high while others shake him down. The world inflates with overwhelming weight, each joke a sign, each jest a twist of fate. He loops in thought, defends what none believe, and traps himself in truths he can't conceive. Too much now means too much to see it plain. He's deep in myth, yet ruled by its domain. The mountains speak in echoes rich and grim, and Don Quixote listens, soul and limb. He strips his armour, vows to suffer pain, so Dulcinea's worth may shine again. Each act of madness bears a moral weight, each gesture stitched to love and faith and fate. The forest isn't false, it breathes his creed, where grief and glory interlace his need. A tale is spun, a princess lost and torn. He nods, convinced with joyfully sworn scorn. Perception hones to fit the chosen theme, and all that doesn't echo fades like dream. Intuition floods but cannot find a shore, while thought unanchored spins without a core. Too much is felt, too little makes it whole. The story swells but leaves behind the soul. Now joined by friends, the errant knight takes lead. His words flow smooth, both prophecy and creed. He listens, teaches, answers tale with tale, a dreamer riding in a holy grail. Their journey blurs the real and not quite so, yet all feel guided by his fervent glow. Together now they weave a larger theme, where madness binds the fellowship of dream. But soon a tale of slavery and war erodes the joy he'd gathered from before. A cannon speaks, cool logic cuts like steel, and suddenly the knight forgets what's real. His mind, once flowing, falters at the gate. Old thoughts return, but not articulate. The cause once clear now trembles at the base, and even Dulcinea loses face. In darkened rooms, among spilled wine and cries, he acts not just in dreams but in disguise. He calms the brawl, restores what pride could wreck, a knight whose madness earns a form of check. He holds the thread, aligns the shifting stage, a self who governs impulse with some sage. The tale now lives within his every breath, no longer just delusion, but a depth. Yet with each speech, the thread begins to fray. He tries to mean too much with what he'll say. The words pile high, too vast to hold in line, a sermon chasing ever-shifting sign. The stories flood, but synthesis is thin. He rides, still bold, but hollowed from within. He functions still, but each truth leaves a mark. A brilliant flare, then silence in the dark. The captive's tale stirs honour in his chest. A tale of love, escape, and trials blessed. He hears the echo of his own design, though blurred by lives more balanced and benign. New suitors come with modern hearts in tow, their griefs less grand, their passions soft and slow. He watches, speaks, but cannot synthesize. The world bends slightly, but not through his eyes. The inn becomes a stage of tangled threads, where every love and lie and purpose treads. He tries to rule the moment with a sword, but no one fits the titles he's restored. Each act he makes belongs to one clear frame, but none connect, the roles are not the same. He fragments in his logic, brave and lost, a noble will, but at pragmatic cost. He meets a tale of sorcery and spell, and nods. It suits the dream he knows too well. No need to question what the signs may mean. The world aligns as though it's always been. Each cue fulfills the code within his mind, where virtue lives and evil is defined. He acts not as a man who understands, but as a myth moved by invisible hands. The canon speaks of fiction's fatal draw, but he defends with ironclad chivalric lore. His reasons curve like rivers run too wide. They flood with force, but no one's on his side. Sancho, unsure, still follows where he leads, divided in his wants, but fed by needs. Their dream persists, but truth now falls behind, a script performed by men who will not mind. He answers doubts with speeches wrapped in fire, but heat alone can't lift the tale much higher. He quotes the codes and visions from his youth, but all that lives now flickers in the truth. His words repeat, but substance slips away, a spinning light too distant to obey. The world grows real, and yet he speaks in flame, a night unmade by stories none can name. At last subdued by friends in cloaked design, he journeys home along a dwindling line. The world rolls past, unchanged, serene and wide. He dreams of quests that wait on the other side. He does not fight the spell they claim he's under, but holds the silence like a quiet thunder. Though boxed and bound, his gaze stays high and keen, for still he walks inside what might have been.